And the fact that you've got replica written down the side of your gun. And the fact that I've got Desert Eagle .50 written on the side of mine. Should precipitate your balls into shrinking. Now, fuck off.
I'm not an expert. I'm not an authority.
Oh, hell yeah, we finally get to do something fun. You get to put some paint on a thing and not... Or we could sand. Sanding is fun too, I guess. I will say about sanding, in this case, is at least I'm starting with bare steel this time and not having to sand off a bunch of shitty rattle can that I put on because I was too lazy to do the job correctly. No, that's a good point, I guess. .220 3M wet dry paper just to cut through the mill scale. I like it for this stage. And yeah, change your paper often. I know we did all these pieces when we were welding, but you can never sand too much. So go back over everything you've done, even if you've already done it, because we've been touching it with our gross hamburger fingers and whatever the hell else. So just sand everything again. I know, it sucks. No one likes it, but it needs done. Acrobatics. I like the scuff pad after that. Red Scotch-Brite. Gotta knock down those 220 scratches a little bit. Get in the cricks and cracks. And then, I'm gonna wax and grease remover again. A heavy wet towel, put it on wet, wipe it off. Put it on wet, wipe it off. What you're doing is you're getting the junk and the shit to kind of float, and then you're wiping it off with a dry towel. So put it on wet, wipe it off. And we drag it outside and give ourselves a little, you know, a little slow-mo view of all of our fun silicone bronze and TIG brazing and fancy, nice, clean sheet metal and tubing and all that junk, because it looks really cool. Get our etch primer, shake the piss out of that thing, make sure you really got it mixed up and shook good. Shook good. I like to give it a light tack coat and then come back over it with a little bit heavier coat. Doesn't really matter if you run this shit, don't worry about it. It's more important to get this etch primer everywhere. This stuff actually gets in and binds to the metal real hard. It etches like the fucking thing says on the can. It etches into the metal a little bit and gives it an actual, like an actual mechanical bond. Very good stuff. Magically, it's the next day, and now we have all these little bits where we did our bi-layers and our overlaps and our whatever else that I don't want to get water and shit into, so we get to seam seal all these guys. And yeah, that's the same seam seal that you buy at like the home store for about $6. And trust me, coming from a guy that's used both this and the auto body version at about $26 a tube, real similar. It's both, they're both water soluble. Jesus, water soluble before they dry. Lay out the same way. It's real similar shit, trust me. We take a little gray Scotch right over our primer and do all those spots that we're going to seam seal. I'm just going to give those a little scuffing so they've got some texture to them for the seam sealer to bind into. Take our seam sealer and put it in your caulking gun and then slam some up in there, and you can just smear it in. It doesn't really matter. It's water soluble. If you screw it up, you can wipe it off as long as it's not fully dry. So put it in, and then you're actually going to want to, I didn't film this part, and I'm sorry, but you want to kind of float it. You dip your finger, your gloved finger, in some water and kind of float that out a little bit, and you'll be able to get it to smooth out real nice. You'll see here in a second. But don't be scared. If you fuck up, wipe it off. Start again. It's all good. You're not hurting anybody. There's no prize for getting it done in one try either. Add a little more, take some out, put some in, don't matter. It's all good. Okay, once you get it all smoothed out, looks something like that. Don't get too obsessed with it. It's going to be fine. We're going to bury it in other shit. It's all good. Then you got that one there. And that one there, and that one there, and that one there, and that one there again, oh, and that one there, and that one there, and that one there. And none of them are the prettiest, and it's okay. We're going to fix it in the next step. Don't worry about it. Paint booth. This is a standard 10x10 easy up canopy, except this one comes with some lens flare. Fucking A right, it does. Okay, extra special canopy with the additional lens flare. Eat your fucking heart out, J.J. Abrams. So what we're going to do with that, we're going to clean up a little bit where that is, and sweep up rake up the dirt and the dust. See the dust flying off that rake? Right, we're going to take care of this because we don't want dust in our paint. Hit that fucker with a garden hose. Just kind of rinse, knock all that shit down, and it kind of traps all the dust in the ground. Automotive plastic. You can get that from the paint store. It's used for masking off large things like paint booths. You can kind of see what we're doing here. We're going to wrap our canopy with painter's plastic. Okay, start it. I started at one corner. You can start where the fuck you want, I guess. Kind of just gently taping it around as I go. You can see today's episode brought to you by longtime channel sponsor Inconsiderate Wind Gusts. Inconsiderate Wind Gusts! Make sure you enter coupon code IdiotBox at checkout for 20% off your first order of Inconsiderate Wind Gusts. Inconsiderate Wind Gusts. Fucking up your project since 1967. More tape. Okay, got everything nice and taped up. We got ourselves a box fan and a couple of furnace filters here. Spared no expense. Got all of our seams taped up, so we got our box fan blowing into it. You can see it's billowing out a little bit, a little positive pressure in there. I prefer that rather than sucking in on the booth. Air comes through filter, through booth, out filter. Yes? Very good, very clever, very easy. The positive pressure means if there's any dust or dirt or spider webs or bugs trying to get in, they're more likely to be blown or pushed out of the leaky seams than drawn in. That's just my theory. It might not be true at all. Hose that floor down again. You don't want your floor drying out mid-paint job. Okay. That same gray Scotch-Brite pad that we used for the seam sealer. Oh, well, sausage break. Right, take that same gray Scotch-Brite pad. Now we're going over all the primered sections. This is me suggesting you break it up into sections so you don't get distracted immediately before I get distracted and completely stop doing that. So make of that as you will. What you will, I don't care. It's scuff the whole fucking thing. I don't care how you do it. It doesn't matter. Scuff the whole thing. I usually try to go over everything a couple of times just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Turn it over. Look at it with new eyes from a different side. Scuff, scuff, scuff. Scuff, scuff, scuff. Yeah, just trying to get in all the crevices here, all the nooks and crannies and little cracks and crevasses and all that shit. getting off some of that excess seam sealer now that it's dry. Yeah, buddy. Nice and soft and clean and looks good. We got everything equally scuffed. All of our seam sealer blended in. This is a new one for me. Gonna try some base coat out of a aerosol can. This is a Tropical Glitz Abyss Black. This is supposed to be one of the darkest blacks you can buy. It's supposed to be darker and richer than Harley Davidson black. But it comes in an aerosol can. It's regular, legit base coat, but it comes in an aerosol can, so it's super easy to use. Mask off all of my places I don't want to have to go back and just re-scuff paint out of. And then we're going to wax and grease again. Do the whole thing. Put it on wet, wipe it dry. Flip it over, put it on wet, wipe it dry. Shake the hell out of your aerosol can. Really shake it. Okay, light dust coat kind of over the top. First off, probably don't need to do that, but I do anyway because I'm bad at painting. Followed by another couple of heavier coats. Once everything's dry, give it time to dry and then come back and do another couple heavy coats. That base coat with no clear is one of my favorite finishes. Just that sheen of black is so nice. Cool, flipped it over, give it some more coats. Make sure you're getting in all of those little crevices. Oftentimes it's best to go in and get your crevices first before you do a full coat. I don't think I did that this time. Do as I say, not as I do. That is why we put up filters. Also why we wear a respirator. Okay, gonna mix our Intercoat clear. Just a note here, this is Tamco. This is all I use for my money, not a sponsor, not an ad, just good shit. That's what I put on my cars, what I put on customer stuff. Tropical Glitz Flake. This is their Onyx, black Onyx and 15 thousandths hex. We're gonna need more than that. You're gonna need a lot more than you think. Put more than you think. Yeah, don't be scared. There we go. And that's that same black Onyx and an 8 thousandths hex. So we got two sizes of black. Yeah, watch how this colors up that cup. Yeah, buddy. Still, not a lot of flake though. You can still see through and see the stick. That's right, more flake. The answer is almost always more flake. Yep, more flake, like I said. Now that we got our black, I'm gonna add just a little bit of this color shifty guy, because I really love a color shifty guy. Got a stick here, I put some black base coat on so we can see what it's gonna look like. Yep. Okay, flaking our gun, we're gonna go a couple light coats over the top. You gotta keep the gun moving around because the flake tends to settle and block everything, so. Just like a base coat, except it's got a bunch of metallic cool shit in it. Make sure you get in all your cracks and crevices. Get the whole thing covered. Many coats as it takes. I try to do it in 2. That's why we put so much flake in the inner coat. I try to do it in 2 coats. You can sometimes do it in 1 if you're better than me, and most people are.
Well, that was gonna happen.
Right, no use crying over spilt milk. Back at it. Making sure we got everything nicely covered with that metal plate. And we're gonna clear it. It all looks about the same, so I didn't film a whole bunch of it. To make up for all the nice money and time we spent on the good product on the front triangle, I'm going to paint the rear and the linkage in the cheapest bullshit I could find. There we go. That's a nice semi-gloss black on the shelf, so we're going to use that. You guys know I prefer satin. I mean, it might even be said that,
I worship satin.
But in this case, this is what I had, so this is what we're going to use. Just make all the parts that weren't black, black. Easy enough. Semi-gloss. That's what we got. Thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, fuck, shit, that's for next time. Nope, next time. Turn that off. Turn that off. Turn that off. We're not doing that till next time.